The Sakura Promise, Japan's eternal love legend beneath the cherry blossoms, where blossoms remember. They say Japan has 4 seasons, but anyone who has ever loved deeply knows there are actually 5: spring, summer, fall, winter, and Sakura. Sakura is not a season, it's a feeling, a breath between memory and dream. And this story begins where the petals fall slowest, in Kyoto, where time moves like warm wind, and love lingers longer than it should. In that city, there is a shrine called Hana-no-Miya, small, quiet, almost shy. But once a year, when the pink flowers explode like gentle fireworks, locals swear that if you stand beneath the oldest tree at midnight, you can hear someone whispering a name that has been called for over 70 years. This is that name, and this is the story behind it. Chapter 1. The Girl Who Played with the Wind. In 1951, Kyoto was still rebuilding its heart. Streets were calmer then, and children played under cherry blossoms as if they were flakes of soft snow. One of those children was a girl named Aiko. She lived near Hana-no-Miya Shrine with her grandmother, who believed Sakura held the spirits of loved ones. Aiko grew up dancing under the petals, pretending the falling blossoms were messages sent from another world. She was bright, curious, a little reckless, and had that smile, the kind that felt like spring itself. One day, as she spun under the blossoms, a boy walked by, Haruto, quiet, thoughtful, the kind of kid who seemed born already carrying a destiny. Aiko bumped into him, scattering petals everywhere. "Hey, you made me lose my wishes." She laughed. Haruto blinked. "Your wishes?" She pointed at the blossoms. "Every falling petal is a wish. Don't you know that?" Haruto had not known that. Not yet. But he would, because that moment became the start of a lifelong bond. Chapter 2. A Promise Written in Pink. As they grew older, Aiko and Haruto were inseparable. They met under the cherry tree every spring, watched the lanterns glow warm against dusk, and shared secrets that only teenagers could believe the world would protect forever. One evening, as the petals drifted around them, like soft pink snow, Aiko said, "Let's make a promise." Haruto raised an eyebrow. "A promise?" She nodded. "When we're adults, no matter what happens, no matter where we are, let's meet here again, under this tree, at the first full bloom." Haruto hesitated, not because he didn't want to, but because it felt enormous, like tying your heart to the wind. But he finally whispered, "I'll come back for you." Aiko grinned. "Good. Then I'll wait for you, even if it takes a lifetime." Haruto added, barely audible, "I hope it doesn't." Famous last words, because life, as it always does, had other plans. Chapter 3. When Blossoms Fall Too Soon. In the winter of 1959, Aiko fell ill. A soft sickness at first, nothing serious, doctors said. But as snow melted and Sakura season approached, her condition worsened. Haruto visited every day. He read her poems, brought her sweet red bean pastries, and described the cherry trees preparing to bloom outside. She smiled weakly. "I want to see them. Just one more time." Haruto promised. He'd take her to the shrine on the night of full bloom. But he was too late. Aiko passed away the day before the blossoms opened, and Kyoto, the city of flowers, felt strangely quiet that year. Haruto stood under their tree with 2 paper lanterns, one for each of them. He lit both. One stayed by his side. The other he placed on the shrine steps, where Aiko used to dance. It flickered, glowed, and went out, as if blown by an invisible breath. Haruto whispered, "I'm sorry, I couldn't keep my promise." But promises don't break so easily. Chapter 4. The Voice That Returned Every Spring. Years passed. Haruto moved to Tokyo, married, had children, then grandchildren. Life pushed him forward, as life always does. But every spring, every single Sakura season, He felt something tug at him, a soft pull, like a whisper. So he returned to Kyoto, once a year, to stand under the old cherry tree. He never told anyone. He didn't need to. The shrine knew. The blossoms knew. Aiko knew. Sometimes he felt the wind brush his cheek, the way she used to. Sometimes petals gathered at his feet, as if guiding him somewhere unseen. Villagers began whispering stories. There is a man who returns every year to speak with a ghost. Haruto didn't care. Let them think what they wanted. He wasn't speaking to a ghost. He was speaking to a promise. Chapter 5, The Final Spring. At 88 years old, Haruto returned to the shrine again, a little slower this time, leaning more heavily on his cane, but carrying the same quiet determination. The Sakura were especially beautiful that year. Soft, pink, endless. Aiko would have loved it. Haruto stood beneath their tree and closed his eyes. If you're still here, I'm ready to keep my promise. The wind rose gently, lifting the petals into a spiral around him. He felt warm, lighter than he'd felt in decades. A familiar scent, pear blossoms and rain, brushed past him. And then he heard it. A voice, soft, laughing, familiar. Haruto. He opened his eyes, but the shrine was empty. No footsteps, no shadows, just petals falling like memories. That night, under the glowing pink canopy, Haruto passed away peacefully, leaning against the Sakura tree where his childhood began. Locals found him the next morning, smiling, and beside him, in the grass, lay a fresh paper lantern, glowing softly, despite having no flame. His daughter asked the priest, who lit it? The priest simply bowed and said, no one living. Today, if you visit Hana-no-Miya Shrine during cherry blossom season, you'll notice something strange. At midnight, when the petals glow pale pink, under the moonlight, you might hear whispering, a boy calling a girl calling a boy, two voices meeting again. After a lifetime of waiting, and beneath the old cherry tree, you'll see two lanterns, always two, one glowing softly next to the other. Locals smile and say they kept their promise, because love, true love, is not fragile like a petal. It is the tree itself, rooted, unbroken, blooming again and again, for those patient enough to return. If this story touched your heart, leave A in the comments. Tell us which country's love legend you want next. Like, share, and subscribe, because some stories never stop blooming.